COVID-19. Director General of Health Services speaks about the end goal. Divisional authorities and trade unions decide to shut down shops in several areas where new COVID-19 infections were discovered. Private bus owners request a fuel concession of 50%. Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna rejects the proposal put forward by party leaders to revoke the proclamation issued to dissolve parliament. India rejects 500,000 COVID-19 testing kits donated by China.
Good evening. This is Primetime News on TV1. I'm Tharusha Kumar singing those stories in detail now. The total number of COVID-19 patients who recovered and were discharged from hospitals have risen to 134, with 6 new people being reported today. A total of 455 patients are currently receiving treatment in hospitals. The total tally of COVID-19 patients in Sri Lanka is on the rise upon the discovery of 12 more patients this evening.
Meanwhile, Director General of Health Services Dr. Anil Jasinghe expressed these views after an event held this morning.
ඊයේ දිනේ 65 දෙනෙක් වාර්තා වුණු ආසාදිතයන් හැටියට එකෙන් 4 දෙනෙක් කොළඹ නගරේ
65 cases of COVID-19 were reported yesterday. Out of them, 4 were from Colombo, while all of the other patients were from the Valisara Navy camp. Among them were sailors from the camp as well as those who had gone to their hometowns. Out of the 4 patients in Colombo, one of them was from Dabare Mawata. We know that there was a COVID-19 patient here previously as well. The Chief Medical Officer of Health of the Colombo Municipal Council had continued to obtain samples of people from the area, and that is how this new patient was detected. Another patient was identified from Hatewatta in Torrington Place. We found out that he had come here from Bandaranaike Mawata. There was another patient who was identified. He was attached to the cleaning unit. We previously decided to collect samples and test all employees in the cleaning unit and other ground level employees of the Municipal Council. He was discovered as a result of this testing process. The person who drove the garbage truck and travelled with this person had previously tested positive for the virus. We have been gradually increasing the number of tests that we conduct, and yesterday, as a result of the tests conducted, we were able to identify a high number of patients. We have added a new testing laboratory to our network. It is the Particular Teaching Hospital. Therefore, yesterday we were able to conduct a record number of 1,533 tests within 24 hours. Honestly, the spread of the virus among members of the Navy was an unexpected turn of events. If you reduce the number of patients from the Navy, you can see that there were only 2 large clusters of the virus. One was in Suduella and the other was at Bandaranaike Mawata. We have now brought the spread of the virus in the areas under control up to about 90%. With the experience that we have had in containing the virus, we must continue these measures to maintain a good environment in the country and protect our economy and our health. Our objective is not to reduce the number of cases to 0. That cannot be done, but the number of patients infected with the virus must be brought down to a level that we can control. But we cannot assure that the virus will disappear completely.
සාමාන්‍ය පරිදි යහපත් සෞඛ්‍ය පුරුදු සමග විශාල ගැටලුවක් නොවන තත්වයක පවත්වා ගැනීම. නමුත් මේ රෝගය යම් ප්‍රමාණයකට තියෙයි කියන එක අපිට අනුමාන කරන්න පුළුවන්.
Today, a group of 77 people who completed their quarantine period at an army-run quarantine center were released after we conducted the PCR test on them. Steps were taken to take them to their homes. 4,526 people have completed quarantine and have been sent home. Steps have been taken to quarantine everyone in the first and second circles who associated closely with the war heroes from the Navy and their families.
A number of sections of the Institute of Infectious Diseases were expanded to provide treatment for COVID-19 patients. The renovated intensive care unit and testing laboratory of the Institute of Infectious Diseases was declared open today.
If we analyze the time period that patients spend here at the hospital, there were patients who were here for between 15 to 21 days. There were also patients who spent up to 43 days at the hospital. These are very important data. Also, if we consider the capacity of the Institute of Infectious Diseases, for the past 30 days, we have treated between 80 to 100 COVID-19 patients. We have been treating them for about 30 days. Also, we have been able to treat 120 to 140 patients for a period of 4 days. And we treated between 101 to 120 patients for a period of 3 days. Therefore, we have been able to increase our capacity more than the amount to which we initially expected.
The Chinese government donated a stock of essential medical equipment and personal protection equipment worth 211 million rupees to Sri Lanka.
The donation was made to strengthen the island's program against the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Charge d'Affaires of the Chinese embassy, Hu Wei, handed over the equipment to the Sri Lankan Minister of Health, Pavitra Vanyarachi, at the Medical Supplies Division of the Ministry of Health. The Chinese government donated 20,000 test kits, 10,000 KN95 masks, 100,000 surgical masks, 10,000 PPE coveralls, 1,000 protective goggles and 50,000 surgical gloves. Charge d'Affaires of the Chinese embassy, Hu Wei, handed over a report on the steps taken by China to combat the COVID-19 outbreak to the Ministry of Health.
Officials of the World Health Organization made the following remarks during a media briefing yesterday. Following views were expressed by Dr. Maria Van Kerkhove, the head of Emerging Diseases and Zoonosis Unit at the WHO.
To receive the registration link.
Welcome back to the news. The 2019 Central Bank Annual Report was released today. A copy of the annual report of the Central Bank for year 2019 was handed over to Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa today, who is also the Minister of Finance. Professor W.D. Lakshman, Governor of the Central Bank, handed over a copy of the report. The report covers the economic development of the country in 2019 and also has a chapter on the forecasts for 2020. Newsfirst Charlene Benedict will now take you through some of those highlights.
The Easter Sunday attacks had an adverse effect on the tourism sector. Now, the adverse spillover effects were felt across the economy, worsening the already sluggish growth in the economy and further dampening investor confidence. Here are 7 key points that were highlighted in the 2019 annual report published by the Central Bank. Number 1. Sri Lanka graduated into the upper middle income country status in terms of the country's per capita gross national income, as per the World Bank's country classification in 2019. Number 2. Sri Lanka would grow 1.5% in 2019, down from 2.3% a year earlier. Number 3. The economy recorded a subdued growth of 2.3% in 2019 compared to the growth of 3.3% in 2018, as per the provisional estimates of GDP by the Department of Census and Statistics. Number 4. According to GDP estimates based on the expenditure approach, growth in 2019 was driven by consumption growth and the improvement in the external balance of goods and services. Number 5. Reflecting subdued economic activity, the unemployment rate in the country increased to 4.8% in 2019, up from 4.4% in 2018. Number 6. Despite transient supply disturbances, both headline and core inflation moved broadly in the desired range of 4 to 6% during 2019, mainly as a result of subdued demand conditions as well and well-anchored inflation expectations. And finally, number 7, total external debt of the country increased to $55.9 billion by the end of 2019, which was equivalent to 66.6% of the GDP, compared to 59.2% of GDP recorded at the end of the year 2018.
As mentioned in your headlines for tonight, regional officials and businessmen in a number of districts where the curfew was lifted had decided to keep their shops closed.
The public in Padiniya Kurunegala had decided to close down the shops in the area after a COVID-19 patient was reported in the area. As businessmen in Padiniya, we informed the officials about this situation, but no action was taken. So as businessmen in the area, we took this decision. Businessmen in Udubadava, Dummala also decided to close down their shops for 3 days after a second person in the area tested positive for COVID-19. However, street vendors in the region who continued to conduct their businesses were informed to stop by public health officials in the region. Businessmen in Anuradhapura also decided to close down their shops for 3 days. Shops in Vaunia were closed down as per the decision of the district secretary.
The curfew that was lifted in 21 districts in the island was reimposed at 8 p.m. today. Curfew in these areas will be lifted again at 5 a.m. tomorrow.
Curfew in all districts except the districts of Colombo, Gampaha, Kaluthara and Puttalam was lifted at 5 this morning. Estate workers visited the Hatton town to fulfill their daily needs. However, they had not been notified to leave their houses based on the final digit of their NIC card. According to our correspondent, the police had warned these people and turned them back. According to our correspondent, residents of Kurunegala were seen adhering to health guidelines. He added that police checked the NIC numbers of people entering the town. Residents of Mathura visited the town after 7 days to fulfill their needs. People were seen not maintaining a distance of 1 meter when standing next to each other. Residents of Madirigiriya Polonnaruwa visited the town this morning. Long queues were seen at Satosa outlets in the area. According to our correspondent, army personnel advised people who did not maintain social distancing. The Madirigiriya Pradeshya Sabha and the police removed street vendors from the pavements in Madirigiriya. The President's Media Division stated that curfew in these districts will be reimposed at 8 p.m. Thereafter, until Friday, the 1st of May, curfew will be lifted in these areas at 5 a.m. daily and reimposed at 8 p.m. on the same day. However, curfew in the districts of Colombo, Gampaha, Kaluthara and Puttalam will continue to be in effect. Police requests the general public to adhere to the regulations that was imposed, only allowing people who are leaving their houses for essential purposes when curfew is lifted to do so only on the specified dates according to the last digit of their NIC. Deputy Inspector General of Police Ajit Rohana said that strict legal action will be taken against people who violate quarantine when curfew is lifted.
Permission has been granted for public transport services to operate in areas where curfew has been lifted. However, people who visited the Kurunegala bus depot to travel out of the district for essential services face difficulties in boarding a bus. A few private buses were operating from the depot. However, a tense situation arose when people not engaged in essential services began to board the buses. We were asked to go to provide essential services at the electricity board. People who are not travelling for work are boarding these buses. We have no way to travel in them. However, the people not travelling for work point out that they too have to use public transport to travel for various reasons.
We came to the clinic at about 7:30 this morning. We came to the bus halt at about 1 in the afternoon and there were no buses. We came here in a three-wheeler this morning. We don't have money to go back in a three-wheeler as well.
The private bus was packed when it came from Mahava to Kurunegala. No one, not even the police, stopped them. There were more than 60 people travelling in that bus. They only allowed the stipulated number of passengers to board the bus from the depot and then they filled the bus along the way. Private bus operators point out that providing services according to the guidelines issued by the government causes them losses. According to the guidelines, each bus can only carry 1/2 of its seating capacity. We made a request from the Transport Commission to provide us with a fuel concession of 50%. Provide us fuel for 50 rupees a month. We don't expect any income. We hope to implement a special program to protect our drivers and conductors.
කෙසේවත් ගමනාගමන මණ්ඩලයට මේ ප්‍රවාහන පහසුකම්
The Transport Board has no way of providing proper transport services. We only have 5,700 buses. Even if we operate together with the private sector, we still won't be able to meet the demand. We will only be able to carry one half of the usual passengers in a bus. We will be providing transport services for the public and private sector employees to go to their workplaces. We have presented facts to the Cabinet of Ministers on the requests made by the private bus owners. To initiate some sort of activity in the sector, I advise the chairman, the drivers and the conductors to resume services.
මේ ධාවන කටයුතු සිදු කරන්න කියලා.
More news on daily livelihood that has been hampered by COVID-19. A group of low-income earners in Kahapola, Madapatha in Piliyandala allege that they have not yet received the 5,000 rupee concession.
Residents of 598A Reginald Watta in Kahapola, Madapatha, Piliyandala allege that they did not receive the 5,000 rupee concession given by the government to the low-income earners who are impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Now they are saying they will not give the 5,000 rupee concession because we fall into the essential service category. Our efforts have to be commended. We have gone from home to home and delivered goods amidst this pandemic situation. I have to take care of my 2 children and my parents. It is me and my husband who do this.
Several people who work at my level have received this. I am a carpenter too, but I did not receive the concession, citing that I undertake my work based on contracts.
They did not give us the concession, saying that we have registered as essential service providers. We are doing a very small business. We got the 5,000 rupee concession after paying 480 rupees. According to these people, the Samruddhi coordination officer had asked them to collect the 480 rupees. All benefits we have provided have been cited here with total transparency. This board has been updated with all the payments we have made so far. I have written certification for all the payments we have made for my own safety.
Meanwhile, the Samruddhi manager in charge of the area also came to the location.
The development officer has been advised to provide the concession according to 2 stages. The first one was to give the loans at a concessionary rate. The entirety of 5,000 rupees was given to the Samruddhi beneficiaries. Please listen to the part that you don't know of. Then there was another stage to give out the loans by the Samruddhi Union named Arunalu Sahana that was given to the people who have obtained their Samruddhi membership.
98 people in Hinguragoda, Polonnaruwa, that falls under the Ulkatupotha Grama Seva division, also have alleged that they have not yet received the 5,000 rupee concession.
My husband is ill. He is working at a hotel. It has been 2 months since he had to stop work. We have a small child too, and I don't have a job.
It has been over 2.5 months since we last got paid. I am over 70 years old. I don't even have a pension payment. There are no means of income for us. According to our correspondent, the residents of the area were to receive this concession from the Grama Niladhari officer in the area, but however, with the influence of a politician, the officer has been removed from her office. The Hinguragoda Divisional Secretariat, commenting on this incident, said that she has attempted to resolve the situation after holding discussions with the officer in question and the politician.
The seeking of a solution was delayed, yes, but we will make sure that incidents of this nature will not take place hereafter. We are hoping to advise the officer to take legal action according to circulars that have been issued by the government and the politicians to assess them in their affairs.
After this incident transpired, a group of people who did not receive their Samruddhi benefit came to the divisional secretariat. We offer our sympathies towards your inconvenience. Your concession will be given to you by 10 a.m. tomorrow by these officers. We will make sure that your relief will be given to you promptly.
The Nugegoda Magistrates Court today observed that the ruling issued while granting bail to former parliamentarian Ranjan Ramanayaka did not declare that the curfew which is in effect is unlawful. The magistrate made this observation when the police appeared before court seeking to file submissions concerning the ruling.
Ranjan Ramanayaka Mahatata.
There were media reports stating that court had granted bail to Ranjan Ramanayaka by ruling that the curfew is unlawful. Lawyers appearing for him too had said the same. Therefore, the police appeared before court today to file submissions in this regard. However, the magistrate declared that he had not ruled the curfew as an unlawful exercise. Therefore, we will continue to enforce the curfew. There is a law passed in 1898 along with the 5 gazettes to this effect. These gazettes and laws have already been prepared because social distancing measures should be practiced at a time of a pandemic. This is not the time to keep issuing gazettes. There are enough of gazettes that have been issued previously.
තබා ගන්න ඕනේ. ඉතින් ඒ වගේම ගැසට් එකක් අවශ්‍ය වන්නේත් නැහැ. ගැසට් ගහලා තියෙන්නේ ඇති වෙන්න. මං පැහැදිලි කරා මේ ඇඳලි නීතිය
I explained that we should let go of this argument as to whether the curfew is unlawful or not and abide by it. That is what I said last time as well. I requested the police in the open court to issue a gazette and apprise the public regarding the validity of the curfew instead of leaving doubts. I have requested them to do this even in the coming days.
Former parliamentarian Ranjan Ramanayaka was arrested on the 13th of April following an incident near his housing complex in Madivela and had been remanded after being produced before court the next day. On the 20th of April, the Nugegoda magistrate had ordered the former parliamentarian to be released on 2 surety bails worth 200,000 rupees each. The case was postponed until the 28th of September.
We will not have to distribute food items if the government had done it in a proper manner. The country received $500 million from China and $700 million from the US. However, Rattaran is saying that the government has not received a single cent. It is because of this suspicion that we are criticizing the government. An opposition is formed to criticize the government if it commits any wrongdoings. That is why we have been sent to Parliament as public representatives.
The IGP has issued a directive to all police stations to permit attorneys at law to travel for court work during periods of the curfew. The Bar Association says permission has been granted to use the Bar Association identity card and any other acceptable proof of identification as a curfew pass when travelling to areas not designated as risk areas for court work.
Similar to the above, permission has been granted to use the BASL identity card and other acceptable proof of identification as a curfew pass when travelling within a district designated as a risk area for court work. The BASL notes if it is required to go across the boundary of a district designated as a risk area when travelling for court work, then a curfew pass should be obtained from the relevant police station. It adds, in such an instance, a curfew pass will be issued when the respective attorney at law submits a self-signed and stamped letter confirming that the respective case is to be taken up in the respective courthouse and the said attorney is appearing for the same. The BSL notes permission shall not be granted to travel from an area designated as a lockdown area in respect of which travelling has been completely prohibited.
On to a rather intriguing news item now. The Pentagon has officially released 3 short videos showing unidentified aerial phenomena that had previously been released by a private company. The videos, previously acknowledged by the Navy as being real, captured what Navy fighter pilots saw on their video sensors during training flights in 2004 and 2015.
The videos show what appear to be unidentified flying objects rapidly moving while recorded by infrared cameras. 2 of the videos contain service members reacting in awe at how quickly the objects are moving. One voice speculates that it could be a drone.
That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is the LNS, dude. Well, if there's like... Look at that thing! It's rotating.
Two students at the Faculty of Engineering at the Moratuwa University have invented a computer software that can be used to monitor patients affected by COVID-19. The speciality of the software is that it assists the monitoring the patient from a distance.
This software has been created by Kesara Veeraratna and Kasun Vitanage, who are currently in their third and fourth year of their degree programs at the university. These students had managed to create this software within a short span of 3 days by communicating through remote methods such as the internet and by telephone.
When there is a need to monitor a patient, a medical worker should go to the machine and adjust the relevant settings. This exposes them to a lot of risk as a result of going near the patient to measure their parameters. However, we have created a software that will allow doctors and nurses to monitor all patients without having to go near them. It will cost millions if we are to purchase this software. Therefore, we designed the software within 3 days as the government cannot bear such a huge cost. As a service to this country, we are ready to provide this software to the places in which it is required.
Vice Chancellor of the University of Peradeniya, Professor Upul B. Disanayaka, was also present at the launch.
Taking a look at the political turmoil that is prevailing in the country, the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna today rejected the joint request made by several party leaders urging the president to revoke the proclamation dated on the 2nd of March 2020 dissolving the parliament.
The joint statement titled Responsible Cooperation in Parliament was endorsed by party leaders Ranil Wickremesinghe, Sajith Premadasa, R. Sambandhan, Patali Champika Ranawaka, Rauf Hakim, Rishad Baduddin and Manu Ganeshan. In the statement, they assured the people of the country that they will not draw salaries, nor attempt to defeat the government, nor thwart any of the legitimate actions of the government during this period.
The curfew in the country has not been imposed by declaring a state of emergency under the Public Security Ordinance. The curfew has been imposed under the provisions of the Quarantine Ordinance and other regulations. Therefore, the provision of Article 70, Subclause 7 does not apply here without acting as per the provisions of Article 155, Subclause 2. Then, funds can't be allocated after the 30th of April. The Constitution has provisions for such a situation under Article 150, Subclause 3. It reads, where the President dissolves Parliament before the appropriation bill for the financial year has passed into law, he may, unless Parliament shall have already made provision, authorize the issue from the consolidated fund and the expenditure of such sums as he may consider necessary for the public services until the expiry of a period of 3 months from the date on which the new Parliament is summoned to meet. Article 150, Subclause 3 of the Constitution clearly states that even after the 30th of April, the President can allocate funds, and if there is a day on which the Parliament is due to be convened, the President can allocate funds from the Consolidated Fund to maintain government services for a further 3 months after that date as well. The joint statement issued by the party leaders yesterday included a number of requests on those matters. I saw many politicians who have no understanding regarding the Constitution expressing various views. They had proposed various courses of action. We have an opportunity to resolve these matters constitutionally, so we don't have to panic.
විවිධ ආකාරයේ ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගන්න පුළුවන් කියන කාරණා. ඉතින් ඒවා අපි ආණ්ඩුක ව්‍යවස්ථානුකූලව ඒවා විසඳ ගන්න අපිට අවස්ථාව තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා ඒ ගැන අපි කලබල වෙන්න අවශ්‍ය වන්නේ නැහැ.
On the same note now, the request made by a number of leaders of political parties was discussed in the political arena today.
Although they wear a mask and present themselves as party leaders, we would like to say that we will not be fooled. Honorable President, the people in this country have faith in you. There are a group of people who believe that their views should not be considered at all. So you can close your mouths and stand by and watch for the next 5 years as if you were quarantined. We will not be fooled by you. Racists and extremists think that all 225 members of parliament should be quarantined for 15 years. This includes everyone from Mahinda Rajapaksa, the Prime Minister, to the MPs of the Port Tour, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, and the members of the opposition parties as well. So because of that, they will have to quarantine the members of the government and the cabinet ministers as well. If that happens, this will be successful. According to what we see, they have already messed up this situation and are wondering what to do now. If we reconvene parliament, there is a staff of about 2,000 people. As per the quarantine law, parliament cannot be summoned. There is a staff of about 2,000 there. Also, convening parliament is a liability. So there is a possibility of the virus spreading in Parliament as well. On the other hand, we will have to see if Parliament can be convened with the pandemic. There are two sides to it. The other side is the legal barrier. They say if Parliament is convened, Corona might spread. We know that parliaments in other countries are functioning. We don't see a spread of the coronavirus in those countries. If Parliament is convened, the government will have to answer to the people of the country. We will question them on monetary powers. Questions will be raised on where the money came from and how Basil Rajapaksa was appointed to handle these. That is a problem for the government. The government wants to somehow play a game and grab power. They cannot do this if they convene Parliament. This Parliament is currently dissolved. The President dissolved this Parliament constitutionally. These party leaders are requesting for unconstitutional powers to be exercised. The opposition, who will suffer a massive defeat at the election, and because they do not know what to do, they are trying to creep into the Parliament for at least one day. Next, they are trying to get the pensions for their young MPs. Then they are trying to see if they can bring together their two warring factions. This government has handled the coronavirus outbreak with arrogance, overestimation, and greed for power. They must accept that they have failed. Don't make such derogatory statements. We don't need a pension. We don't want to play the violin while Rome is on fire. Please convene Parliament. We have got aid from a number of countries in the world, but although our country gets aid from the world, this government does not distribute the aid among the people in the villages. There is a lot of mismanagement of funds. We have got $500 million from China. Next, we have got $128.6 million from the World Bank. We got $600,000 from the Asian Development Bank as a grant. We also got $1.3 million from the United States. The European Union had given us $24 million. UNICEF, the IOM, and IFRC have given us $655 million. Locally, we have got 848 million rupees.
Sri Lanka rupial billion 128.9
For a month, they are still struggling to provide 5,000 rupees to the people of our country who don't have any food to eat. What is this government doing? We are asking them to convene Parliament to act transparently in utilizing these funds. Health and security officials have clearly informed the President that we do not have any laws to pass after convening Parliament. The officials have informed the President that the existing laws are adequate to fight the COVID-19 outbreak. Then why are these people writing letters asking for Parliament to be reconvened? If they want to do something for the country, the officials are saying that the existing laws are adequate. They want to get something else done. The UNP that is currently divided wants to unite. Remember, it is this same Parliament that they want to reconvene that robbed the central bank. It is a Parliament that couldn't get anything done. So we have no need to reconvene such a Parliament and hinder our efforts to curb the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. If there is no need to convene Parliament, why is a general election being held? There is no need for an election. We don't need to appoint anyone new through these elections. The people do not have a need to hold an election. Nobody wants an election. Everyone are wondering how we are going to live tomorrow. Giving 5,000 rupees to the people is not enough. They must at least be given 25,000 rupees. The money in the hands of the general public have now depleted. Therefore, please give all the money that is to be spent for the election to the general public. Let's hold the election later. Let's first help the people to live and give them some breathing space. About 7 million people have been given an allowance of 5,000 rupees. The government has already spent over 40 billion rupees for this. In the future, the government will take steps to distribute funds among the general public of the country that have been affected. So you can all see that there is no financial crisis in the country. Hundreds of thousands of people who earn daily wages have been left helpless by the coronavirus outbreak. The government must help them. The poor people in the country have fallen into a deep abyss. The government must provide adequate concessions to these people. Especially currently, laborers at factories in our country are losing their jobs. In many countries, their governments are intervening to pay the salaries of the factory workers. In our country, the government must assist small and medium-scale businesses to pay the salaries of their employees. The government must temporarily assume this responsibility for at least 6 months. The government must intervene and provide the salary concessions not only to large-scale businesses, but also for small and medium-scale businesses.
සුළු මධ්‍යම පරිමාණයේ කර්මාන්තකරුවන් ඒ වැටුප් සහන ලබා දෙන්නට රජයේ මැදිහත් විය යුතුමයි.
While the political arena is heated up on such matters, people around the country are faced with a multitude of complex issues. Today we focus on the fate that has befallen the residents of Veeravilla who make out a living by manufacturing and selling Palmyra-based products. The government has identified 11 villages in Veeravilla as model villages for the Palmyra industry. Residents of these villages manufacture several items such as bags using Palmyra leaves. However, around 300 families which once managed to earn a living by selling these products along the Hambantota Khataragama main road have been left helpless at present.
ගුලියට කඩයක් අරගෙන තමයි අපි ජීවත් වුනේ. අපේ අම්මා තාත්තා හිතන් කරන්නේ මේ තල්ගොල මේ ගෙනල්ලා වියලා බෑග් අලෙවි කරන එක. එදා වේල ගැටහ ගන්න බොහොම අමාරුයි. තල් බෑග් එක වියලා තමයි දැන් අවුරුදු 15 17ක් විතර ජීවත් වුනේ. මාසෙකමාරක් තිස්සේ ඒක නැතුව අමාරුවෙන් ජීවත් වෙන්නේ. කොරෝනා ප්‍රශ්නේ රටේ ආපු ආර්ථිකයේ කඩාවැටීමත් එක්ක ඇඳ නීතිය එක්කම මේ සියලුම නිෂ්පාදන කඩාවැටෙනවා. මිනිස්සුන්ගේ ආර්ථිකය දැන් අන්තිමටම කඩාවැටලා තියෙනවා.
The people of this area obtain Palmyra leaves from areas such as Jaffna, Patiklo and Ampara. However, the supplies of these leaves too have lost their modes of income due to the current restrictions in place.
Are all the information you hear about COVID-19 accurate? Here is a fact check of some of the misinformation that is being circulated these days.
A Russian scientist has claimed that a man-made bacterium has somehow merged with the new coronavirus, and it is the reason people are dying, and recommends baking soda to treat it. The scientist's interview appeared on a popular Russian YouTube channel and has had more than 4 million views. However, there is no evidence to support this. The disease COVID-19 is caused by the coronavirus alone. It is also not the case that baking soda can help if you are infected with coronavirus, or nor can it prevent the infection. Another fake remedy that kills the coronavirus, according to misleading social media posts, is drinking silver particles in liquid known as colloidal silver. The side effects of taking colloidal silver can include a bluish-grey skin discoloration and poor absorption of some medicines, including antibiotics. It does not cure COVID-19. There is also a rumor that Elisa Granato, who is a scientist in the UK and one of the first people to be administered with a trial vaccine for COVID-19, has died. However, this is completely false, and she recently updated her Twitter profile to reiterate this. The University of Oxford has also confirmed that Elisa Granato is alive and well.
Viral WhatsApp messages often containing false information has seen a drop of 70% after messaging platform WhatsApp introduced measures against misinformation in April.
WhatsApp says it has seen a drop of 70% in highly forwarded messages, which include the kind that may spread misinformation about the coronavirus. The World Health Organization has said the spread of fake news about the outbreak is an infodemic. 2 weeks ago, WhatsApp stopped messages sent between individual users 5 times or more, then being posted to more than one chat group at a time. But experts say it still has more to do in the battle against misinformation. A spokesman for the messaging platform said, quote, WhatsApp is committed to doing our part in tackling viral messages. This change is helping keep WhatsApp a place for personal and private conversations, unquote.
Up next is a story behind the discovery of 12 baby snakes in Wadua.
This residence is occupied by a sole individual in Udugalla, Wadua. Beneath the foundation of this house, area residents dug out 12 baby snakes. Our correspondent said the snakelets have now been handed over to the National Zoological authorities.
Earlier on in the bulletin, we aired footage of animals roaming in populated areas around the world. Similar footages have been captured in Sri Lanka as well. The following are from social media. The Nagitimu Sri Lanka theme song was created to inculcate a positive mindset within the people of Sri Lanka. The song was sung by some of Sri Lanka's best-known singers in Sinhalese, Tamil and English. However, even these legends have been happily overshadowed, and that's because Gammadda asked the ordinary people to lend their voices to the song. And lend they did. And it was extraordinary. We leave you tonight with the footage of St. Bridget's Convent's senior choir singing the song. I'm Tarusha Kumar Singh, along with our tonight's news interpreter, Brian D. Cruz, and of course our producer for tonight, Charlene Kevin Benedict. Good night.
ලොකු වගකීමක් තියෙනවා. එන්න අපි එකට එකතු වෙමු. යලි නැගිටිමු ශ්‍රී ලංකා. කිසිද නොවෙනස් මිනිසක් ගුණ පිරිපුන් රට ශ්‍රී ලංකා. මේ රන් භූමියේ උරුමය අපගේ රැකගමු ශ්‍රී ලංකා. ඉදිරිය ගැන එක් වී අපි සිතුවොත් රැකගන්නට ලංකා.
Gammadda, Nagitimu, Sri Lanka.